How would your best friend describe you?
He doesn't want to know how nice my friends are, does he?
No, it's a coded way of asking for your strengths and weaknesses.
Are there any weaknesses it's all right to have?
Being too punctual?
I see.
You may find it helpful to have a list of key points you want to get into the interview. 2 or 3 things about yourself that make you the ideal candidate for the job. If you bring it with you, you can look at it before you come in.
Thanks. They describe me as enthusiastic. Someone who'll turn his hands to most things. Someone who's energetic.
And what would they say were your weaknesses?
That I try to do too many things at the same time.
Could you tell me what you think has been your greatest achievement?
I was dreading a question like this.
Why's that?
Oh, come on, I've never been a big achiever, captain of this and that. Should I make something up?
Not a good idea, but it's quite in order to make a lot out of a little.
My immediate response is ask me in 20 years' time. But you're not going to let me get away with that, are you?
Making it to university and being set to achieve a 2-1.
Why are you proud of that?
Because I'm the first person in my family to go to university.
What obstacles did you have to overcome?
I had difficulty with one of my A-levels. Halfway through the course it was touch and go whether I'd make it.
Why was that?
I chose a bad subject. I either had to stick with it or go for another option and squeeze 2 years' work into 1 year, which I did.
Do you generally drop things when they're getting too difficult?
Not at all.
You must expect to be asked challenging questions. You can't prepare for all of them, but some will be obvious from reading through your application form from an outsider's point of view. Things like gap years and changing courses.
So what does that say about you as a person?
That I like to succeed with the things that I do. And if I can't see any chance of success, I tend to get out.
What else have you worked hard at and succeeded with?
Rock climbing.
Tell me about it.
As well as showing the selectors you're qualified for the position, you also need to give them something to remember you by. Ideally, the interview will allow you to demonstrate your personality. But even if it hasn't, questions about your outside interests let you be enthusiastic.
You told me earlier about the holiday you organised.
Yes.
Now tell me about a time when you've had to work in a team, but you weren't leading it.
On my final year project, 3 of us had to research a topic and then give a presentation.
What did you do?
The project compared river valleys in Devon for pollution, summer and winter flow rates, amenity value and so on. Would you like to know more about it?
Tell me about the teamwork.
The student who was most computer literate handled data analysis. The one with the best eye for detail looked after literature searches. And I conducted surveys and measurements.
How did you get this role?
I think it was because I was the least shy about going up to people and getting permission to go on their land to sample river water.
How did you handle disputes among team members when they arose?
There was only one occasion when feelings ran a bit high. That was when we had to...
Fidgeting and other nervous behaviour will distract the selector from what you're saying and may give the opposite effect to the one you want. Try to appear relaxed, even when you're under pressure.
Well, my next question is very different. I want you to imagine that you're working as a consultant for the Department of Transport. A directive has come down from Brussels that, to harmonise with the rest of Europe, this country has to change over to driving on the right. You're advising them on introducing this change. How would you approach the task?
How can anyone prepare for a question like this?
You can't, and there isn't a right or wrong answer. We're looking to see how your mind works, how logical your reasoning is, and how good you are at coming up with fresh ideas.
Right. Firstly, I'd find out if other countries have done it, and what problems they had. You'd need to find out what people think about it, and then try to persuade them it's a good idea. It would take an immense amount of planning. We'd need off-road driving schools, with simulators, so that motorists can get used to the new style of driving.